The Galactic Council chamber was packed with representatives from thousands of species, all gathered for a single purpose: to decide humanity's fate. The vote was swift and unanimous. Every species, from the cold-blooded Zelthari to the hive-minded Vron, agreed Earth was too unpredictable, too dangerous. Enslavement was the only option. Within days, the invasion began. Massive warships blacked out the skies, their energy weapons making short work of Earth's defenses. Cities burned, governments fell, and in mere weeks, humanity was broken. Billions were shackled and transported across the galaxy to serve their new masters. Some labored in the mines of Drax 9, others entertained as gladiators for the amusement of their captors. The unlucky ones became test subjects in twisted alien experiments. Their conquerors celebrated, believing the humans were permanently subdued. To them, this was just another species added to their empire, another victory to mark in the annals of history. They failed to understand what they had truly unleashed. The first signs of defiance were subtle. Machinery in labor camps malfunctioned at an unusual rate. Entire shipments of vital resources vanished without a trace. Slavers began turning up dead, their throats slit in the dark. At first, the council dismissed it as minor insubordination, a natural reaction to captivity. But then the disappearances began. Entire facilities were found abandoned, their alien overseers missing. In the deep mines of Carthos Prime, human prisoners were rumored to be forming secret networks, passing encrypted messages through stolen alien tech. The council scoffed. What could mere primitives possibly do against a galactic empire? One answer lay in a high-security research station orbiting a dying star. Inside, a human scientist named Dr. Elias Monroe sat in chains, his mind working tirelessly. He had been forced to study alien biotechnology, to assist in experiments meant to break human resilience. Instead, he had learned their secrets, their weaknesses. And he was not alone. The first coordinated attack came without warning. A mining facility on Vron 6 went completely silent. When a patrol ship arrived to investigate, they found only smoldering ruins. Surveillance footage recovered later showed the impossible humans, unarmed and outnumbered, overwhelming their captors with ruthless efficiency. They had turned the aliens' own machines against them, using industrial tools as weapons and disabling critical life support systems. The slaves had become hunters. Across the galaxy, the pattern repeated. Human prisoners manipulated their captors, playing on their arrogance and overconfidence. They sowed discord, whispering lies into the ears of rival species, igniting feuds that fractured alliances. Entire planetary defense grids went offline, their security codes mysteriously altered. Ships vanished mid-warp, only to reappear days later, stripped of valuables and crew. Then came the plagues. A virus spread through the slaver colonies, striking only non-human species. The infected collapsed within hours, their nervous systems fried by what appeared to be an engineered pathogen. The council panicked, scrambling to contain the outbreak, but it was already too late. The virus was spreading faster than any known cure could counteract. Meanwhile, an even greater threat was rising: human-controlled AI. Once used to monitor and suppress prisoners, the machines had been hijacked. Entire planetary security systems were now under human control, turning automated defenses against their former masters. Orbital stations were set to self-destruct. Agricultural worlds were left barren, their resources redirected to hidden human enclaves. The final blow came in the form of a stolen warship, a dreadnought-class behemoth once considered indestructible. It was now under human command, and it arrived at the capital world of the Zelthari Dominion with a message: surrender or burn. The council, still blinded by their old assumptions, laughed at the demand. Then the bombardment began. The Galactic Council barely had time to react before their world was torn apart. The dreadnought's cannons rained destruction upon the Zelthari capital, reducing centuries-old monuments to molten slag. The once mighty rulers, who had overseen the enslavement of humanity, scrambled for escape. Some fled to hidden bunkers, others to off-world sanctuaries. None were safe. Terror spread faster than any fleet could move. The Council's power fractured overnight as entire species turned on one another, desperate to survive the coming storm. Alliances collapsed. Armies deserted. Planets that had once reveled in humanity's suffering now sent desperate transmissions, pleading for mercy. The humans did not answer. On the industrial world of Drax 9, where millions of humans had once toiled under alien whips, the uprising reached its peak. Slaver ships were hijacked, their own weapons used to obliterate their masters. Factories were repurposed to build war machines, their assembly lines no longer producing goods for the Council but weapons of destruction. The message was clear: humanity was not just rebelling, they were taking control. Even the Council's most powerful war fleets crumbled. Human-controlled AI systems had long since infiltrated their networks, feeding them false data, turning their own ships against each other. The Grand Armada meant to crush the rebellion was led into a trap, emerging from warp only to find themselves surrounded by a fleet of hijacked vessels. The battle lasted mere hours. None survived. On the Council's final stronghold, where the last remnants of power gathered in secrecy, a broadcast interrupted their emergency meeting. A human figure stood in the shadows, face unseen. The voice was calm, deliberate. It spoke of the suffering humanity had endured, the horrors they had been subjected to. And then, the final words. You wanted slaves. Now, you will learn what it means to serve. The transmission cut off. Moments later, the station's power failed. Doors locked. Life support systems went offline. The Council members, once the rulers of the galaxy, were left gasping in the dark. The war was over, but humanity's vengeance had only begun. The Galactic Council was no more, its leaders either executed or left to die in the ruins of their own empires. What remained of the once mighty civilizations now cowered before their new rulers. The Terran Dominion had risen, and the galaxy would never be the same. Former slaver species faced a grim fate. Some were driven to extinction, their homeworlds reduced to barren husks. Others were forced into servitude, working under the same conditions they had once imposed on humanity. For the first time in history, they understood what it meant to be powerless. Not all humans sought vengeance. Some factions pushed for diplomacy, arguing that a new era of coexistence could begin. But their voices were few, drowned out by the billions who still bore the scars of captivity. Mercy was a luxury humanity could no longer afford. The galaxy had shown them none, why should they offer any in return? Entire star systems were reshaped under human control. Advanced AI governed with ruthless precision, ensuring no rebellion could ever rise against Earth. Former Council worlds were stripped of their resources, their wealth redirected to rebuild what humanity had lost. The balance of power had shifted, and the galaxy learned to kneel. A final transmission echoed through the void, a warning to any who still harbored thoughts of resistance. A simple message, broadcast on every frequency, to every species that had once voted to enslave Earth. You feared what we might become. You were right.